Putin just lost his final ally, and the Caucasus relations between Russia and Azerbaijan have deteriorated significantly in recent weeks. The reciprocal steps are now reflected not only in the diplomatic sphere, but also in the intelligence and media spheres. Moscow has accused Baku of secretly supporting Ukraine. What do these accusations mean? At the same time, pressure on the Russian press in Azerbaijan and military activity on the border are drawing attention. So how did things get to this point? Tensions had actually been building for some time.
Today we cannot risk the life and health of our people. Therefore, there should be no physical contact, and there should be guaranteed security measures so that our people and cargoes can go freely. So this is a very legitimate demand.
The military and diplomatic balance established by Russia in the region after the 2020 Karabakh War prevented Azerbaijan from acting independently. This balance was one of Moscow's most important levers in the South Caucasus. However, over the past 2 years, Baku has both increased its military capacity and reshaped its foreign policy axis. Deepening military and strategic cooperation with Turkey, plans for the Zangezur corridor, and energy diplomacy with the West have caused serious discomfort in the Kremlin. Moreover, Azerbaijan's policy of balance in the Ukraine war has been signaling a clear shift in direction in recent months. The event that caused tensions to escalate visibly took place in the final months of 2024. An Embraer 190 aircraft belonging to Azerbaijan Airlines veered off course during a flight from Baku to Grozny on December 25, 2024, and crashed near the city of Aktau in Kazakhstan. There were 69 people on board. 38 people lost their lives, while 29 were rescued with injuries. Initial official statements suggested the crash was caused by a routine malfunction, such as a technical failure or bird strike. However, details that emerged shortly afterward contradicted these claims. The Azerbaijani government alleged that the aircraft may have been targeted by electronic warfare systems, that its control systems malfunctioned, and that it was subsequently struck by a Pantsir-S air defense missile. It was understood that at the moment of the crash, the aircraft encountered serious GPS interference over the Caspian Sea, deviated from its course, and headed toward Aktau instead of Grozny. After the crash, missile fragments were found on the wreckage. In addition, the pilot's opinion that they were exposed to external forces rather than a bird strike was recorded. Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev said that the plane was rendered uncontrollable through electronic warfare and then destroyed by Russian air defense missile fire. These statements turned the crash from an ordinary accident into a geopolitical crisis with allegations of military misconduct. On the Russian side, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov avoided commenting on the claims that the plane was shot down and stated that the crash would be investigated. The air incident is being investigated, and we don't believe we have the right to make any assessments until the conclusions are made as a result of the investigation. Putin, meanwhile, used the term tragic incident in his condolence statement, but did not explicitly accept responsibility. Independent experts and countries such as the U.S. and Canada also greeted the initial claims of bird strikes with skepticism, suggesting that some black box fragments showed signs of missile impact and that the activity of the Russian air defense system could have been a decisive factor. These statements make it clear that this accident is no longer a routine incident caused by a technical malfunction. Amidst these tensions, a new breaking point came on July 19th when Azerbaijan officially demanded that Russia take responsibility. Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev made the following demands of Moscow: an official apology, those responsible to be held accountable before the law, compensation to be paid, both for the deceased passengers and for the state that suffered damage on the plane.
On relations with Russia, the question was about the plane crash. Unfortunately, we didn't get any answer from Russian officials about that, though it's already 7 months have passed. For us, everything is clear. We know what happened, and we can prove it. And we know that Russian officials knows what happened.
However, Russian President Vladimir Putin had previously apologized for the incident, calling it a tragic accident, but had not explicitly acknowledged Russian fault. A few days ago, Azerbaijan officially began preparations to appeal to international courts. Aliyev stated, "We are preparing the documents, and if necessary, we will wait 10 years, but justice must be served," explaining that even if the procedure takes a long time, the struggle will not be abandoned. However, the main reason for the deterioration of relations between Russia and Azerbaijan was the arrest of approximately 50 ethnic Azerbaijanis by Oman forces in Yekaterinburg on June 27, 2025. Authorities claimed that these individuals were linked to certain murders and attacks that took place between 2001 and 2011. Two brothers, Ziadin and Hussein Safarov, who were among those detained, died after being brutally beaten during interrogation. It is reported that the other Azerbaijanis in custody also had serious bruises on their faces and that their families described the incidents as ethnically motivated and demonstrative massacres. The Azerbaijani government reacted immediately. An official statement was issued demanding an apology for the Yekaterinburg raid, the prosecution of those responsible, and compensation. President Aliyev also demanded a secure corridor at the border. In retaliation for these developments, the Sputnik Azerbaijan office in Baku was raided. The editor, the general manager, and some staff members were arrested on charges of illegal financing and fraudulent activities. In addition, 8 Russian citizens were detained on charges of drug trafficking and cybercrime. When they appeared in court, they had visible injuries on their faces. The Azerbaijani government canceled cultural and diplomatic events, suspended talks between the two countries, and called for protests at the Russian diplomatic mission in Baku. The bodies of Ziadin and Hussein Safarov, brothers who died after being detained in Yekaterinburg, were brought to Azerbaijan on a special flight a few days after the incident. At the request of the families, a detailed autopsy was performed by a team of independent forensic experts under the supervision of the Prosecutor General's Office of Azerbaijan. Medical examinations revealed numerous signs of serious trauma on the bodies of both brothers. In particular, fractures were found in the ribs, arms, and legs, hematomas, internal bleeding in various parts of the body, and signs of blows to the face and head. The forensic report clearly stated that the cause of death was multiple traumatic injuries and internal bleeding due to internal organ damage. These findings seriously contradicted the Russian authorities' statements that the deaths were due to heart attacks and complications. Following the publication of the autopsy report, the Prosecutor General's Office of Azerbaijan issued an official statement announcing that the incident would be investigated as a crime of murder by intentional torture. The same statement emphasized that such actions could constitute a crime against humanity under both Azerbaijani criminal law and international law. These developments symbolize a fundamental rupture in Moscow-Baku relations. While Russia's traditional influence in the South Caucasus is being called into question, Azerbaijan's efforts to strengthen ties with Turkey, Israel, and the West are accelerating this process. Recently, Russia has decided to increase its military presence in border regions. Personnel and heavy equipment have been deployed to some bases near the Georgian border. Satellite images and open source analysis show that various modern equipment, such as T-90 tanks, Pantsir S-1 air defense systems, and Grad rocket launchers, have been transported to these regions. These steps are not merely symbolic, they are strong signals that Moscow is preparing for a new show of force in the South Caucasus. Meanwhile, the Baku administration has not backed down either. Azerbaijan revoked the operating licenses of 3 Russian media outlets last month and expelled some journalists working for Russia. These reciprocal moves have completely shaken the fragile balance that had been established for more than 30 years. Putin's most loyal ally in the South Caucasus seems to be parting ways. Baku is deepening its alliance with Turkey and moving toward more independent relations with Europe and Central Asia. This represents not only a diplomatic, but also a geopolitical loss for Moscow. One of the key factors contributing to the recent escalation of diplomatic tensions between Russia and Azerbaijan is Azerbaijan's provision of mine clearance support to Ukraine. While official Baku presents this assistance as a humanitarian initiative, The Kremlin's perception of this move appears to be more complex. In late 2024, Azerbaijan sent modern mechanical mine clearance equipment called Revival P and spare parts for it to Ukraine. These systems were deployed in the Kherson and Kharkiv regions, which had previously been occupied by the Russian army but were later liberated by the Ukrainian armed forces. The Ukrainian Emergency Service is actively using these systems and notes that they have made a significant contribution to the faster and safer clearance of mines in the operational area. While this support provided by Azerbaijan is officially described as humanitarian and technical assistance, Moscow is concerned that there may be deeper geopolitical motives behind it. The validity of these claims is unclear, but one thing is certain. The military technical cooperation between Azerbaijan and Ukraine is being closely monitored by Russia, and the deepening of this relationship is viewed by Moscow not only as symbolic, but also as a strategic threat. This development is interpreted as a new sign that Azerbaijan is moving away from the balance policy it adopted in the Ukraine war and is taking a closer position with the West. From the Russian side, messages are coming that this is a temporary tension. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said that these crises can be overcome based on common interests. Nevertheless, the reality is that Azerbaijan is no longer what it used to be. It is pursuing an equal, accountable, and independent diplomacy. One of the symbols of this change, the Zangezur Corridor Plan, not only directly connects Turkey and Azerbaijan, but also lays the foundation for a new logistics route that will connect the Turkic states of Central Asia to Western markets. This corridor offers an alternative to the northern route controlled by Russia, both in terms of energy transportation and commercial connections. Thus, the sphere of influence that the Kremlin has sought to establish in the post-Soviet era is being effectively weakened by these new transportation and energy networks. From Moscow's perspective, this is not only a geopolitical loss, it also carries symbolic significance. So where will this rupture lead? Will Azerbaijan truly become an independent regional power? Or will this challenge open the door to a new Moscow-Baku crisis? Both possibilities are on the table. However, one thing is certain. The power game in the South Caucasus is no longer being played by the old rules. In this process, shaped by new alliances, new lines of interest, and new actors, Azerbaijan is not merely a figurehead. It is moving toward an active role as a game changer. This marks a period that redefines the balance of power for both regional countries and major powers. We've reached the end of the video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on the latest news.